This is a deer, and the deer population in Wisconsin is on the rise. The last year, after the 2024 hunting season, there was a record high of 1.825 million deer in the state of Wisconsin, states Paul A. Smith, a Milwaukee Journal Sentinel for the Marshfield News Herald. Not only are these dangerously high numbers, but the DMV recorded 16,000 to 17,000 car crashes caused by deer in 2024 alone. I mean, last year alone, I saw 6 bucks in the field, and it was like 7 a.m. in the morning on opening day. I didn't shoot none, though, because opening day you don't really shoot bucks, and then that was a mistake because I never saw the bucks again those couple of days, so one, you should shoot opening day sometimes, I guess. I usually don't. I wait in case a bigger buck comes up, but no bigger bucks came. Why is it banned? Hunting with bears banned in these said counties in Wisconsin, as shown on the map right here. These counties, including my county of Barron County, have banned baiting deer for the next 3 years, starting in 2023. It was. The reason? CWD. Now, what is CWD? CWD is an abbreviation for chronic wasting disease. Chronic wasting disease is a prion disease that affects deer, elk, moose, and other similar animals. CWD has never affected a human, though, but it is fatal due to the spreading up the spine and brain of said infected animal. And what causes these bans a lot of the time are deer farms. Now, how did deer farm cause bans in some counties? Well, after a deer on a farm in Eau Claire County recently tested positive for CWD. This year, the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, or the DNR, established a new deer baiting ban on the adjoining Clark County and Eau Claire County due to the deer on the farm testing positive for CWD. Now, CWD is spread through fluids like feces, saliva, blood, and urine. This can occur either through direct contact or indirectly through contaminated soil, food, or water. Now, in 2025, with the deer close by and being in close proximity with one another, spreads faster. Therefore, if you risk having one deer get it at a faster rate, therefore causing a mass death of deer in that farm because CWD affects them. But why are the farms the ones causing these bans, and why are us hunters hunting in the wild getting punished? I don't understand. So now, how do we bait responsibly if we get the bans lifted? Or at least less strict? Well, baiting deer needs to be done thoughtfully and strategically. The difficult part of it is placement. Hunters must position bait in places where mature deer feel comfortable in daylight. According to the Deer Baiting Guide, all about baiting whitetails, which is excellent. I love. That's a good resource. Want recommendations of what to bait deer with, they recommend apples, but if you're not into the food like deer corn, there are other baits like rattle forks, doe-dash fawn bleats, decoys, and doe urine, just to name a few. Now, the bleats and decoys might not draw in as much deer as deer corn on a cold November day, but it would do the trick. But not as much as food, I feel like, for me personally, since ever since I've been hunting, getting my license, there's been a ban. So I'm not sure how food would do personally if we put that out for a deer, but I feel like it would be more effective in the cold then, rather during bow season when it's a bit warmer. Now we can't get away from reality in that there are some pros and cons, with some cons including the things found in deer corn, which is mycotoxins in the moldy corn, which usually doesn't hurt the deer because they can digest just about anything, but it can kill turkeys and songbirds, according to Durkin. With that, it is limited on how much deer corn hunters can put down in non-CWD areas, with the use of up to 2 gallons of bait per 40 acres of land. Some pros being that it attracts deer. You can get more accurate estimates, counts on the number of deer on your said property. You can count the males and females and see overall what you have in front of you, rather than cameras, which is sometimes a guessing game because you might see an antlerless buck come by and you're just like, is that a doe or a buck? If you want to get an accurate count, that's a pro of baiting deer. Since Wisconsin's deer baiting and feeding violations have worsened, totaling 6,003 unofficially. That's an average of 501, including a high of 692 in 2009, a little 403 in 2018, at roughly 523 bucks per citation. That's 3.14 million in deer baiting fines, according to Durkin. Now, I want to take this as notable and noteworthy information. I am not the news, I am not the government. I'm just putting information together to make a point. With the point being, a ban on baiting raises accidents with vehicles, causing deer to be killed with an increase of deer population. Now, should there be a ban on baiting on public land? 100%. As that can cause conflicts between us hunters. Should there be regulations on the amount of feed you can put out? Yes. CWD a real problem in deer? Yes. But we need to look at the picture. I'm one for rules with hunting. I don't believe in poaching, but baiting, in season animals with some rules, hunters find a way to do it legally or illegally. Baiting deer should only be on private property that you own and not on public, with restrictions on how much should be fed on every 40 acres. The solution is a baiting with restrictions, not a complete ban. You have rules, while allowing us hunters to bait and therefore possibly lowering the amount of accidents caused by deer. So now, we look back at this, and you see, last year, we had a record high of 1.825 million deer in the state of Wisconsin, with 16,000 to 17,000 car crashes in 2024. Why is that? Me personally, I believe baiting ban. You're not getting as many deer killed, and they starting to know and learn more that they know when to hide, they know when to come out. Last year, you see deer on the side of the road all the time. They don't learn from that. But yet, they learn when we don't have feed out, they're safe. They don't find a reason to come out there. Because the woods, they have food. And if you're hunting in a field, like some people do, they might not come out due to the woods having pine. Do deer? Okay, never mind. We're going like that. But they have food in the woods more than the field during the November months. Bow season, people more hunt in the woods. But rifle season, I notice some people sitting in the fields like I do. I have a nice hunting shack, which I'm going to be singing all year, pretty much this upcoming November, and I just feel like that a baiting ban is restricting the amount of deer that can be killed, not for sport, but for food purposes. So I'd like to thank you, and don't take my opinion as fact, but have a good day.